Well, this is about as good any place to get started here talking about today's project, and I do appreciate you coming out here with me to the farm. Off to the left is my farm, and that fence along the road there is my fence line. It just so happens that today's discussion is going to be centered around that fence. How I keep that fence weed-free, and it's not easy. I think a lot of farmers who have fences along here would appreciate the new system that I have developed, and it's basically the combination of two pieces of equipment, and neither individually work that well, but by combining both of them together, they work pretty good. One is a DR pull-along weed eater. I bought it about 12 years ago and tried to use it throughout the years, but it didn't get close enough to the fence, and I'll explain why in a minute. And weeds grew, and then I had to go with hand sprayers, and I went with various sprayers along the way. All just didn't do the job. They were dribblers. And last October I purchased a 25-gallon John Deere sprayer, and truly I wasn't overly happy with that either. So let's get out of the car here and go on up to the barn, and I'm going to show you both pieces of equipment individually, explain how they work and why they didn't work that well for me, and then tell you the modifications it took to make them work and how I put them together. Well, here's the first piece of equipment, and kind of ignore the board there. I've already started modifying the device to accept the sprayer. But this is the DR pull-along weed eater, and you can see it has a spring-loaded mechanism there, runs along the fence line. The problem I ran with this device is the offset between the cord and the protector there is about 3 inches, and on both sides it leaves about 6 inches of weeds to grow in the middle. And I think it would work fine if your fence was above the ground, allowing this mechanism to slide underneath. But my fence goes all the way to the ground to keep different small animals away from the property. So it just never worked that well, and I parked it here for the past probably 4 or 5 years. Haven't used it. So I kind of thought about it when I bought the sprayer, that maybe I could put a spray head on the back of this that would run along that fence line. And that's what we're going to be doing today. The second piece of equipment is a John Deere 25-gallon sprayer, and it was completely inadequate. It didn't spray well at all. I took off the 2-gallon per minute pump that it came with. I installed a 4-gallon per minute pump that I bought online, bought some 5/8 hose, and reduced it back down to the 3/8 hosing that was on the rest of the sprayer. Also, the sprayer came with a plastic wand. I broke it, I think, after the first time trying to develop this system. So I purchased a steel wand that will be permanently mounted on that board that you saw earlier on the DR weed eater. So the combination of two is almost ready, and we're going to look at the detail of that spray head mounted on that board. So I realized after trying a few prototypes that the wand was vulnerable to breaking off, so I mounted this on the board using wedges and clamps, and I also put an extra little piece here to protect that tip from hitting the fence. So here's the installation of the wire onto the battery pigtail, and that energizes the pump, and that pump pushes the fluid through. Now I put an empty container on my gator, fill it with about 3 gallons mixture of Roundup, and then I took that wand, as I mentioned earlier, which is mounted permanently on that board, hooked the hose onto it, and there you have it. That's the system. Here we're on the fence line, and I'm pulling it because I had to go around a tree to get it lined up. I moved it around, and then I'm going to test that spray. You can see how that spray is pointed directly at the base of that fence. It's a steady stream, and we know we're going to get plenty of Roundup right at the base of that fence line. So now, here I go. I'm going to do the fence line, and you can see it runs right along that fence, keeping that spray right up against the fence line. Very efficient and effective.